Hello and welcome to this CCNA video tutorial. Today we'll be looking at an introduction to Packet Tracer. Packet Tracer is a software that will allow you to simulate some networks and be able to practice your configs. It's well worth having this program as it will really help with your studies. Okay, double click on the Packet Tracer icon from your desktop or from the Start menu. Okay, Packet Tracer will then load up, and what we've got is this little area here where we can drag on our topologies and create our network. Down in the bottom section here are all of our devices. The first little button here, routers, gives you a choice of different routers available. So you can drag on any of the routers you want to use in your network. So I'm just going to pick an 1841, drag that on, and there you can see it appears. So I can just click onto our router there, and what you get is a sort of physical view which we can zoom in on, and as you can see it looks very similar to a real 1841 router. You've got two fast Ethernet ports here, you've got your console line, auxiliary line, and you've got two blank slots here for adding in expansions. If you want to add in expansions, you just turn off the power and then come over to the expansion you want. So I'm just going to pick a WIC2T for demonstration, drop that in, and then pop the power back on. We've got the option down here for CLI. This is where you'll be spending most of your time in the command line interface. As you can see, it's booted up, and we can type in our commands. We'll go into those in detail in later tutorials. I'm not going to worry about them for now. The next option down here is switches. Again, we can have a nice little selection of switches. Same deal, just drag on the one you want, give it a click, you get a nice preview of the physical device, and again you have a CLI for your switch. Again, we'll explore these later on in the course. Next section is your hubs. You've got a few options in here, just drag them on whenever you want. The next option, wireless devices. So we've got a couple of wireless access points available, and we've got a Linksys router as well. We'll be using the Linksys towards the end of semester 1 discovery. If you click onto that, you get again a preview of the physical model, and then you can choose GUI this time, and as you can see you get a Linksys graphical user interface. You can have a play around with many of the options in there. Like I say, we'll be exploring that later on in the course. The next option is your cables. You get a variety of different cables to use. If you're not sure on a cable, there's this little lightning bolt one. You can give that a click and then click on your devices, and it will automatically pick the cable for you. Most times it's right. The next option, bottom row, we've got some end devices. You've got a generic PC, generic laptop, server, we've got some printers, IP phones, we've even got TV in this version of Packet Tracer, and some smart devices. The server's quite useful, there's some good options inside there. Under config, you'll be able to set up what web server, DHCP server, and so on. Again, we'll explore all of these later on. Then we've got the WAN emulation, so we've got our modems and some custom made devices. Custom made devices are normally ones that have just been set up for you, ready to go. So for instance, this generic PC here is actually a wireless PC, so it's been set up with a wireless interface card ready to connect to a router. And the final option here is this multi-user connection. We'll be using that in the classroom, but dragging that on allows you to connect to other people or other computers on the real network and share your networks with them. You've got your normal toolbar along the top with your file menus for saving, You've got some copy and paste, undo and redo options, and a few other bits and pieces up there that we'll explore. Down the side here, we've got some options for notes, so we can actually place a note on a network, and that will allow us to sort of diagram out the network really well. You've got a couple of options here for drawing some shapes. You can choose a shape and just draw it on your screen. You can select fill colors if you wanted to, and just fill in blanks. And just a bit further down the page, we've got some options here for sending and receiving packets. We'll explore those in a later tutorial. I just wanted to give you a feel for how Packet Tracer looks before we get into using it. Have a little play around, see what's in there. Like I say, if anything goes wrong, you're not sure what you've done, just file and exit and say no. It's the best thing about using the IT. You can play and play, test it. The more you break it, the more you'll learn. We'll explore Packet Tracer and all of its features later on in the course, and I'll show you how to build some proper networks and how to use it in much more detail. Hope this has been a useful introduction to it. Thank you for watching.